When you think of Egypt, what comes to mind? Probably its incredible history, right? The pyramids, the pharaohs. But what if a nation's greatest export wasn't something from its past, but the ingenuity of its people right now? In this explainer, we're going to dive into how Egypt is planning a major economic pivot, aiming to turn its human capital into its most valuable resource. And that right there, that single idea, is at the very heart of a new national strategy. It's a pretty powerful statement, isn't it? It looks beyond the ancient artifacts and asks what the people who built them can create today. So this is the core concept we're going to unpack. Okay, to really get this vision, let's start at the Grand Egyptian Museum. Picture this, the colossal statue of Ramses II, just this massive ancient monument. But what's truly symbolic here isn't just the statue itself. No, it's the fact that modern Egyptian designers, engineers, and logistics teams were the ones who restored it and moved it into place. That incredible feat is a perfect metaphor for the country's modern capabilities, a reminder that the same spirit of innovation is very much alive today. Now, this new focus on ingenuity, well, it isn't just an optimistic idea, it's actually born from necessity. See, Egypt has been facing these repeated bouts of economic turbulence, and they all stem from one critical problem: a shortage of foreign currency. So what does that actually mean? A foreign currency shortage is basically when a country doesn't have enough US dollars or euros to buy the stuff it needs from the rest of the world or, crucially, to pay back its international loans. This creates a really tough cycle of economic instability, and breaking that cycle, well, it requires a fundamental change in strategy. And that change has a name. The government's National Narrative for Economic Development lays out a really clear path forward. The goal is to shift away from relying on debt and instead build an economy that's driven by the private sector and totally focused on creating competitive, export-oriented industries. The bottom line is, you've got to earn more foreign currency than you spend. So the big question is, how do you do that? Well, Egypt's answer lies in its single greatest and honestly largely untapped resource: its people. And this is where the economic plan gets really, really interesting. Get this, a staggering 60% of the population is under 30 years old. Now, that isn't just a statistic, it's a massive reservoir of energy, ambition, and potential that's just waiting to be channeled. And it's not just about youth, it's about education. Every single year, 750,000 students graduate from Egyptian universities. That creates this huge, deep talent pool. So what kind of skills are we actually talking about here? Well, these aren't just random degrees. We're talking about specializations like engineering, computer science, business, and languages. The exact skills needed to compete in a modern, global, service-based economy. And this brings us right to the core of the strategy. Instead of focusing only on traditional manufacturing, Egypt is betting big on high-value services as its next major export. This is seen as the fastest and most direct way to solve that nagging foreign currency problem. So why services? Well, it's pretty fascinating when you compare them. Unlike building a giant factory, setting up a services operation needs way less capital, and you can do it really quickly. And this is crucial. It has minimal import costs. You're exporting brain power, not physical goods, and it earns hard currency, like dollars, directly. It's a huge near-term win. And hey, this isn't just some theory. Egypt is already seeing incredible results. The country's exports of IT services have already climbed over $6 billion a year, with a goal of hitting $9 billion before 2030. And this really shows you the momentum. Just a couple of years ago, there were around 90 global companies running these kinds of service centers from Egypt. Today, that number has skyrocketed to over 240. The world is definitely taking notice. And listen, we're not talking about small startups here. These are major global players. Companies like PepsiCo, Schneider Electric, and Unilever are running critical regional hubs for finance, HR, and logistics right out of Egypt. This is powerful proof that the talent and the infrastructure aren't just a promise for the future, they're a reality today. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, you can't just abandon manufacturing, it provides too many jobs. And you'd be right, but this strategy isn't about choosing one over the other, it's about integrating them. A fantastic example of this is the local luxury brand Okshayan. As its CEO explains, the brand's value isn't just in the physical craftsmanship. No, it's in the creative services that elevate that craft onto the global stage. Think about it. The product design, the international branding, the digital marketing campaigns that tell a compelling story. These are all high-value services, led by local Egyptian teams that transform a beautiful handbag into a global luxury item. It's a perfect marriage of services and manufacturing. So here's the bottom line, the new way of thinking. The success of any investment, whether it's in a factory or a software company, is now being judged by a single sharp metric. How much foreign currency does it bring in, keep, and multiply within the economy? That's the new benchmark. And this brings us full circle, right back to where we started. Egypt's future is being shaped not just by the sectors it chooses, but by how it develops and deploys that incredible human capital we talked about. You see, the competitive edge here isn't just about being cheap. It's about something much more powerful they're calling affordable intelligence. This isn't just a buzzword. It means having a workforce that uses technology to become more productive and more valuable. It's about competing on skill, not just on cost. And by channeling this creativity and resilience into globally tradable services, Egypt has a real chance to turn its ingenuity into a living, renewable export. Which leaves us with this final, really powerful question. After centuries of being known for the monuments of its past, can Egypt prove that a nation's ingenuity can actually become its most valuable and most renewable export for the future?